They called him the Minister of Defense, a man who dominated the NFL for 15 seasons with 198 career sacks, second only to Bruce Smith in league history. From the streets of Chattanooga to the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, Reggie White defied the odds, becoming not just a Hall of Fame defensive end, but a pioneer who changed professional sports forever. In 1993, he broke new ground as the first major free agent to command his own destiny, setting a precedent that would reshape how athletes negotiate their worth. This is the story of a man who recorded more sacks than games played during his Eagles career, who maintained an astonishing 9 consecutive seasons with double-digit sacks, and who, despite his dominance on the field, faced controversy for his outspoken beliefs off it. A minister who preached on Sundays and terrorized quarterbacks on Mondays. This is the legend of Reggie White. Born December 19, 1961, in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Reginald Howard White entered the world with little fanfare. Raised by his single mother until the age of 8, young Reggie was then placed with his grandmother, Mildred Dodd. The stability she provided would help shape the determined young man who would later dominate professional football. By the age of 12, Reggie had already mapped out his future, announcing to his family 2 ambitious goals. He wanted to be a football player and a minister. Few could have imagined he would become legendary at both. At Howard High School under coach Robert Pulliam, White's potential became evident as he racked up an astounding 140 tackles and 10 sacks in his senior year, earning All-American honors and recognition as Tennessee's top recruit by the Knoxville News-Sentinel. Those early statistics forecasted a player who would eventually average nearly 5 tackles per game over his NFL career. White's collegiate career at Tennessee from 1980 to 1983 showcased his exceptional talent. As a freshman, he forced his way into the starting lineup and recorded 51 tackles, 2 sacks, recovered 2 fumbles, and even blocked a crucial punt that set up Tennessee's first score in their 23-10 victory over Georgia Tech. This early performance earned him the Andy Spiva Award as the Volunteers' Most Improved Defensive Player. His sophomore campaign saw substantial improvement with 95 tackles and a team-leading 8 sacks, along with 7 tackles for loss. Despite an ankle injury hampering his junior season, White still led the team with 7 sacks. But it was his senior year when White truly erupted, registering 100 tackles, setting a school single-season record with 15 sacks, adding 9 tackles for loss, and grabbing an interception. In a single game against the Citadel, he established a school record with 4 sacks. His dominance earned him consensus All-American honors and CC Player of the Year. Throughout his Tennessee career, White recorded 293 tackles, 32 sacks, 19 tackles for loss, 4 fumble recoveries, and 7 batted down passes. His 32 career sacks stood as a Tennessee record for 33 years, until Derek Barnett finally broke it in 2016. When the NFL failed to draft him, White took his talents to the Memphis Showboats of the United States Football League, where for 2 seasons he dominated with 23.5 sacks, a safety, and a recovered fumble returned for a touchdown in just 36 games, averaging a remarkable 0.65 sacks per game. When the USFL collapsed in 1985, White signed with the Philadelphia Eagles, taking a substantial pay cut with a 4-year, $6 million contract and a $400,000 signing bonus. Despite missing the first few games, White made an immediate impact in his NFL debut with 10 tackles and 2.5 sacks. He finished his rookie NFL season with 13 sacks in 13 games, earning NFC Defensive Rookie of the Year honors. This impressive start foreshadowed what would become one of the most dominant defensive careers in NFL history. White's 8 seasons with the Eagles cemented his legacy as one of the greatest pass rushers ever. In 121 games with Philadelphia, he accumulated an astounding 124 sacks, more than a sack per game, becoming the Eagles' all-time sack leader. During the strike-shortened 1987 season, White set the Eagles' single-season record with 21 sacks in just 12 games, a remarkable 1.75 sacks per game, an NFL record that still stands today. The fewest sacks he ever recorded in a season with Philadelphia was 11 in 1989, White's dominance extended beyond just rushing the passer. In 1991, he set the record for most passes defended in a single season by a defensive lineman with 13. Over his Eagles career, he averaged approximately 95 tackles per season, demonstrating his all-around defensive prowess. His unprecedented combination of size, strength, and speed allowed him to consistently overpower offensive linemen, making him nearly unblockable at the height of his powers. In 1993, White made history as a pioneer of player-requested free agency, fundamentally changing the NFL landscape. After exploring his options, he signed with the Green Bay Packers for 4 years, $17 million, becoming the NFL's third highest paid player, behind only quarterbacks John Elway and Dan Marino. During his 6 seasons in Green Bay, White added another 68.5 sacks to his career total, becoming the Packers' all-time leader in that category at the time. But perhaps more importantly, White brought leadership and a winning mentality to a franchise that had struggled for decades. In his 4th season with the team, White helped lead the Packers to victory in Super Bowl 31, his only championship at any level. In that game, White set a Super Bowl record with 3 sacks, including a game-clinching takedown. In 1998, at the age of 37, White was named NFL Defensive Player of the Year for the 2nd time in his career, demonstrating his extraordinary longevity. During his Packers tenure, White averaged approximately 11.4 sacks per season and maintained his elite level of play despite advancing age. After a brief retirement, White returned for one final season with the Carolina Panthers in 2000. At age 39, he started all 16 games, recording 5.5 sacks and 1 forced fumble before retiring for good. His career NFL totals were staggering: 232 games played, 198 sacks, 1,111 tackles, 3 interceptions for 79 yards, 20 fumble recoveries for 137 yards and 3 touchdowns. Including his USFL statistics, White recorded 221.5 sacks in professional football, making him the all-time professional football sack leader. His 9 consecutive seasons with at least 10 sacks remains an NFL record. White was named an All-Pro for 13 of his 15 seasons, including 8 first-team selections, and made 13 consecutive Pro Bowls. In terms of efficiency, White averaged approximately 0.85 sacks per game throughout his NFL career, an astounding rate of production that few have matched. Off the field, White's journey was equally significant. A devout Christian, he became an ordained Baptist minister during college, earning his famous nickname, Minister of Defense. After football, White devoted himself to his faith, studying Torah and Hebrew. He put his beliefs into action following the African-American church arson scares of the mid-1990s, helping raise over $912,000 to rebuild the inner-city church in Knoxville, Tennessee, where he had served as an associate minister. White also appeared in the Christian film Reggie's Prayer in 1996, playing a football player who retires to become a high school history teacher and coach. Tragically, on the morning of December 26, 2004, just 7 days after his 43rd birthday, White was rushed from his home in Cornelius, North Carolina, to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead from cardiac arrhythmia. The medical examiner later determined the most likely cause was cardiac and pulmonary sarcoidosis, a condition White had lived with for years. Sleep apnea, with which White had also been diagnosed, may have contributed to his death. White's legacy lives on through the Reggie White Sleep Disorders Research and Education Foundation, established by his widow Sarah to ensure all people have access to treatment for sleep disorders, regardless of socioeconomic status. In death as in life, White received unprecedented honors. He became the first and only player in NFL history to have his number 92 officially retired by multiple teams: the Philadelphia Eagles, the Green Bay Packers, and the University of Tennessee. White was posthumously elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame on his first ballot in 2006, with his wife Sarah delivering his acceptance speech. Streets bearing his name can be found in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and in Green Bay, Wisconsin, near Lambeau Field. The Minister of Defense recorded 8 sacks in his final 2 playoff games, dominated for 15 NFL seasons, pioneered free agency, and lived his faith without compromise. Reggie White wasn't just a football player. He was a force of nature who changed the game both on and off the field. With average annual statistics of 74 tackles and 13.2 sacks throughout his NFL career, White's legacy as one of football's most dominant defensive players remains unquestioned. The Minister of Defense preached on Sundays and hunted quarterbacks on Mondays, leaving an indelible mark on professional football that few will ever match.